So my goal is offense, counter offense. See this? See, he's worrying about my blade as he's losing his. So that's why once this thing starts moving, see, look at that. It's gotta move. So we have this thing called slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So everything that you have to do, slow. The key is this when you're using weapon is to always be double. I'm always double weapon. If I have a single stick, it's my single stick in my empty hand. As opposed to sometimes people don't move, especially when they have a blade. Their other hand is not moving. It's just this. You always have to be double. So from the beginning, say bicep, chamber, still hand still here. Hip, that could be on the hip, wherever you place your secondary weapon. If I carry a neck knife, it will be here. If I carry it back here, it will be the same. Does that make sense? Now, if I carry it here, so guess what my movement is? 1, 2, when I hit, it's going here and back. Or I will what? Squat. Bicep, chamber, hip. Now look, I just pulled this out. What's the mechanic of my hand? I pull it this way. What's the mechanic of my hand? I don't have it. What's the mechanic of my hand? Still what we call knife hand. So with the blade, see, I can pass the same thing. As opposed to just from here, if I cut, it's gonna go through, right? So I pass, it's the same thing. I pass, then I cut again, and then don't look at me, now look, you have that. See, you have all of those, all of that is based on doing it high, like this. Bicep, hip point, doing it low, same exact way. This is the terms that we use. This is called Sinawali. How many of you guys have heard of that? Okay, Sinawali means weaving. When you start weaving, eventually what's going to happen? Things are going to what? Things are going to lock. So, look, that's what I'm doing. See? When you start weaving, look at that. Those are the things. So that's why a lot of disarming in the Filipino martial art has to happen incidentally. Because if we focus on disarming, you forget about being offensive. Now look, here comes his other one. Does that make sense? So my goal is offense, counter offense. See this? See? He's worrying about my blade as he's losing his. So that's why once this thing starts moving, see? Look at that. It's got to move. So we have this thing called slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So everything that you have to do, slow. Okay, so bicep, chamber, hip, and point. So when you start up without, so now when you go bicep, see? My hand goes here. Bicep, instead of chambering up here, you can chamber here. Hip. Now look, when I point, I have it. So it teaches you how to, it teaches you how to get to your secondary weapon. So when you do sticks, can I borrow another stick, please? Yes, sir, this one. So when we do this, look, see? That's why it has to come from the chambering position on where, what we call loading position. That's where we load. That's where we hit from. So a lot of stuff that we do when we're flowing, it's chambering and reaching for that secondary. When this one is hitting, this one is reaching for the second one. So you're already training in how to place your, now see, all of that is already training you how to get to your secondary weapon. Now when you're training and flowing, there is meaning behind it as opposed to just flowing just for the sake of flowing. Does that make sense? So I have a purpose when I'm flowing. I'm putting what? One there. Yes. While I'm reaching for this, I'm ready to, how do you hit hard with this? Right? So it's true to your body mechanics. So once there's action, there has to be a what? A reaction. Because this is all based on blade. For every slash, there's a thrust. Slash, thrust. When I'm thrusting, they're slashing. When I'm thrusting, they're slashing. Why they don't hit? Because when we bring it back, they're parallel. Okay? So those you guys practice, and then you end up hitting the sticks. Okay? So make sure your third strike, parallel when you bring it back. Which means I'm slashing and I'm thrusting if that was blade. Does that make sense, everyone? Or basically what that is chamber. Okay? It's all chambering. Does that make sense? Okay, so do you see what you guys are doing? Bicep, hip. This is basically when you combine it. So bicep, chamber, hip, and point. Go ahead. Where you are now, even if you have it in reverse, it's the same. Bicep, because that's how, bicep, chamber, hip. Reach for the second one. Point. Yes, go. Bicep, chamber, hip. How would you, now when I say point, how would you cut? How would you counter so you can hit again? So not this way, right? Your hand would be what? Same position. It will be in a knife hand position. Does that make sense? If you look at all the things that you do in the martial art, from elbow strike, rolling, what do you use? The blade part of your body. So the blade will really teach you the proper mechanics of your body. The sticks will teach you the attributes and also the speed of your hand. But the blade will correct all your, how you move, like this. If I strike like this, you see that? I'm hitting flat. But if you do it like a blade, it lines up on the second knuckles, right? Now, if you do that with the stick, it gives you that fluidity. Does that make sense? The fluidity of your movement. And then if you chamber, okay, and then if you have one short and one long weapon, now it really teaches you what? The proper, yeah, your distance, exactly, which is what we call the waving in and the waving out when you use this. I mean, you guys, I saw some of you guys have already warming up with this. That's why I mentioned that. It's called the spade daga or stick and dagger, right? So these, the mechanic is this. If I'm hitting the guy there, I can't just thrust over here. Does that make sense? So that's why your body, if I hit there, I can be back here, right? Now, if I'm gonna go like this, I better move in, right? That means I'm going for the opponent. So when you see movement of the weapon, it makes sense.